We have some things to say, and the Sharks aren't in it, unfortunately. But let's have some fun here on Teal Town After Dark. Good evening, everyone. It is Saturday night, August 1st, 2020. Your San Jose Sharks aren't in it, but hockey is back, baby. We have the Stanley Cup Qualifiers, day one, and it's going to be a fun one to break down. We had 5 games on the schedule, and let's have some fun as well. Welcome to Teal Town After Dark. Yes, it seems weird that we're doing this in August. I'm sweating in a hockey jersey, but go with it, folks. All right. So if you want to be a part of the show, here's how you do it. Chat with us and fellow Sharks fans in the YouTube chat on the page or the app. You can follow us on the social, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, SoundCloud, Reddit, our Discord after the show. And for more Sharks content, visit us at tealtownusa.com. And with that, we say hello. Good evening, everyone. What a first day for hockey to return, huh? I mean, my goodness. What a great one, you know? Probably one of those, I mean, throw everything out the door, which, of course, we should know from now for the Stanley Cup playoffs. And maybe even more so the Stanley Cup qualifiers for sure here. So I'm Eric Curra. You can always follow me on the Twitter and the Instagram at PuckGuy14. Running the thing solo tonight. We've been gifting, AJ and I, going with a full-on gifting of 5 games, which is, my goodness, 13 hours of hockey bliss. I mean, let's be real here. Yes! You know, it's one of those fun times where you can start at 9 a.m. and finish at 10:30, and there's a little bit of you that are hoping that, you know, Winnipeg would pull it out and send the game into overtime for sure. So I'm going to be relying on you in the chat a big time to check this out. So please, by all means, hit that subscribe button down below. Make sure you tell all your friends. We're going to see how this goes tonight and see how things roll here. We'll play it by ear if we're going to continue on every night after every night of the qualifiers for sure. So, Elfo CC, it was just great to watch live games all day. Music to my ears. Yep. Zach, that Montreal and Pittsburgh was something. Yep, that's for sure. Patrick Tyler, you want all the Pacific teams to advance, so Laffy stays out of the Pacific. Yeah, well, 1 out of 2 not bad, right? You know, so yes, LOL still wearing a jersey. Awesome. Yeah, you got to. Hey, you know, even though it's August and it's 90 degrees outside in beautiful Concord, California, you got to, for sure. So, definitely. California cruising. It's hard to choose between hockey and baseball right now since every game matters for both sports. Yeah. And you're concerned about the baseball season, so we'll see how much they last, as I think we saw another 4 Cardinals players go down with COVID. So that's going to be interesting here. And Zach, of course, sentiment of, I think, every Sharks and I think Kings and Ducks fan, anybody but Vegas. So let's get into it, shall we? And if you have any questions or you want to, say something on there, by all means, let me know. Hit us up in the super chat. All the donations go to help support the show. So do us a favor and give us the support there. With that, let's get going on what started out about like a wild game to begin the whole qualifier tournament. A 3-2 Carolina win over the New York Rangers. This thing had everything get going. It's like all the teams said, "Hey, can you just start the playoffs like hitting just on the ground. It was crazy. It was like a game 4 of a 7-game series, So it's like craziness. But uh, you know, you had Jacob Slavin scoring like a minute into the game. You had Justin Williams blooding up Strome in a fight in the first period. It was crazy. It was crazy, and just the back and forth going on between the Canes and the Rangers. I mean, it'd be 2-0 Carolina. Sebastian Aho got a power play goal. Then Zibanejad with a sweet tip in to get the Rangers on the board, and I think right after Nakaj, I'm hoping I'm saying that. Kevin Lacey, where are you? Made it 3-1. Lundqvist comes down with just a terrific save, and I know Zach, you're mentioning it too right now. Lundqvist is done after this tournament. The guy is just old. I thought he kept the Rangers in it for the most part tonight, but yeah, you have to look at what they got going on with Georgiev and Shesterkin. That's the future for the Rangers, and I think the writing's on the wall. Is a prize start with Lundqvist. I don't know. So we shall see what goes on there, but back and forth action really got nice and heavy action going on there. And then we shift over to the other bubble in Edmonton, where the Oilers and the Blackhawks. Connor McDavid gets things going, like 2:34 into the game on a power play, and then in the span of 7 minutes, the Blackhawks score 4 goals, and it was pretty much over from there. I mean, Edmonton made it interesting. They made it 4-2 thanks to Leon Draisaitl on the power play, but then Kubalik scores 2 in the rest of in the second period. Next thing you know, they're done. I mean, yeah, Edmonton made it interesting late in the third, but my goodness, 12th seeded Chicago. What, are they supposed to even be here right now? It's going to be an interesting one. And we said all along that I think Chicago was going to give them a run for their money, but we thought Edmonton though. Yeah, and Felix just saying in the chat, seriously though, WTF Edmonton. Elfo CC, 4 goals in the first period, not on my bingo. Hey, isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth? We did not see that. And the concern again will be, you have all this offense, where's your defense? Is, how good's the goaltending going to be in this series? Because I think if Crawford goes down, you're going up against Malcolm Subban. Koskinen, he's been a decent netminder, but is Edmonton having to score goals in order to, stay on par with this? Yeah, Mike Smith was in net for the most part today, but man, what a rough start for sure for Edmonton as they go down 1-0 in the series. Sorry, I have no banter to go with anybody, so, going over there to getting my water is going to be in it. The game of the night, I think we can safely say Pittsburgh and Montreal. We knew this was going to be the thing. I think Pittsburgh was out shooting Montreal 10-2 at one point in the first period. Carey Price, I think everybody was mentioning, watch out, Carey Price gets going. You just never know what's going to happen. So, and then Montreal gets it going. I think it was 2-0 after, nearly midway through the game, and then Sidney and Brian Russ scored 2 goals in 2.5 minutes to tie it up. You saw 2 penalty shot attempts late in the game, one late in the third period, and one in freaking overtime, which, my goodness, I don't think I've seen it. And then, my gosh, Drouin, what was that? What was that? Seriously, Drouin, really? It's just that was bad, and as Dirk would say, would make you feel bad. But Petrie would bang home the loose puck past Murray. Good night. Bubble back to your hotel safely. Can't say drive home safely because you aren't driving anywhere in the bubble. But you have both 12 seed teams win. And they played well. It wasn't lucky. They played well. Both of them had multiple goal leads. And you have to think about it. It's like, if Pittsburgh and Edmonton go out, they have a 12.5% chance to gain that number 1 overall pick. And it's like, sure, yeah, of course, they need the Lafreniere guy. Yeah, okay. Shoot. And then, of course, at the end of the night, the last game, Winnipeg loses Scheifele, which looks like it's going to be a bad injury. And Laine, who inadvertently, looks like he cross-checked Giordano into the boards. Giordano gets away with a nasty slash. Laine doesn't return. Scheifele's helped off into the dressing room. Is Winnipeg in trouble? Yeah, they are. Connor Hellebuyck can't save the day all the time. I'm sorry. And then Johnny Gaudreau gets off the schneid after being highly criticized. I mean, how many times have you seen them talk about Johnny Gaudreau? Oh, he's a ghost, But full credit to Calgary. And they stopped the Winnipeg power play 0 for 7 tonight. 0 for 7. With such the great talent that Winnipeg has offensively, that's unacceptable. I don't care who's in net. That's just unacceptable. So let's get to what you're saying in the chat right now. Zach saying, I still do not think Edmonton's not a great team. Yeah, I think they are. They just have waves of showing bad times. So, Anthony Sanchez, will the players stand count towards playoff stats during this tournament? They figure that out. Yes, it will count as playoff stats during this tournament, for sure on that one. So, yeah, they are considered playoff stats. So much for so much for the for all those bonuses that the players might have had. So, Puck Guy, this is from Skylar. Puck Guy, how can you do a wraparound in the NHL without giving a common courtesy of a reach around? Simple. You just wrap it around. You go around the net. Yeah. You're not reaching. I mean, if you were reaching, you're like, you're like reaching all the way around. No, that doesn't work. Ruben, 21 pucks. Hawks winning the cup. You heard it here first. I don't know what would be more annoying. The Hawks winning the cup as a 12th seed, where they probably shouldn't even been here, as opposed to them getting Lafreniere. They get Lafreniere, and they go out and lose to Edmonton, and they get Lafreniere. It's like, really? Really? Great. That's terrific, Chicago. Here, have another 4 more outdoor teams. Yeah. I know that's a long, old joke, but, it is what it is. Felix, as Ian tweeted earlier, teams with nothing to lose are more dangerous in the play-in round. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the pressure with Edmonton and Pittsburgh is tenfold right now. Like, they have nothing to lose. Todd Snyder, I don't think Edmonton is sound foundationally as most other teams, although Chicago wasn't a dining star. No? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Elfo CC, extra pressure for just a 5-game round too, I think. Well, yeah, and it's a 5-game round. You got to jump right into it. You're essentially jumping into a game 3 of a series after having almost 5 months off, which is crazy. anybody read Jumbo might play in the Swiss League until the Sharks season starts? I haven't heard anything about that, but I haven't heard anything about that either. So, if I hear anything, I'll let you know. Felix Dran with the whiff of the play-in. Oh, man. Yeah. Yikes. I was shocked with Montreal and how they played first period. Yeah, like I said, they were getting outshot 10-2 at one time. Just ridiculous amounts. Price stood on his head. Like, people thought, if anything, if Montreal's going to, somehow escape out of the qualifying round, it's going to be with Carey Price doing it. Flames Jets is going to be my favorite series in this round. Yeah, although if Scheifele and Laine are out, this could spell major trouble for the Jets, unfortunately, and that sucks if that's the case. So, keep going. We've got a lot of chatter going on. Appreciate it with those 19 viewers. Thank you so much. Hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't. If you already have, tell all your friends. We are over 2,040 subscribers right now, so we appreciate you immensely. So that long of a break might as well be a new season. Anthony hoping like me, hoping Tampa loses early. Yes, get that draft pick to be nicer. Let's see here, going through that. Yeah, Chuck, I think that kind of speaks the same sentiment as Anthony. Sharks fans should be rooting for Vegas and Tampa Bay to lose in the first round. Oh, yeah. Oh, trust me. I think that's a given for Vegas. I think that's definitely a given for Vegas. Yeah. It's it is what it is. Shang Peng noted the Jumbo news in his article today. Well, that is quite interesting. So. Eric, how much do you want for the shark banner behind your left shoulder? That one? No, not for sale. Unless you find one that has the 25th anniversary logo, then I'll swap you. So, the hockey bench continues tomorrow, and I couldn't be more excited. Yeah, 5 more games on the schedule tomorrow. We'll cover that in the wrap around in a little bit. So, Vegas is in the round robin tournament. Yeah, so if you didn't catch last night's show, we kind of explained it. So, the top 12 teams in each conference got into the playoffs. Teams 1 through 4 will play a round robin, which means 3 games against the other teams. Teams with the most points will be seeded in that form. If there is a tie, it'll be based on their points percentage as to how they will be seeded 1 through 4 for the playoffs. Seeds 5 through 12 are doing the qualifying round, the best of 5, which will be a playoff overtime. So it'll be very interesting to see how things turn out. Obviously, so, hey, Concord guy, anywhere to watch the game? Yes, online, unfortunately. There are, let's just say, there are some special ways to find some of these feeds. I could think of some 66 reasons, but I are not sure on that. So, darn, I need that banner. I have the other 2. I'm sorry, Anthony. Yeah, if I could find another one, and keep looking on eBay. Let's see. Yeah. So, yeah, you got the games on Sportsnet. That's where I kind of like the feed. And lucky you, for the people in Canada, you have Jimmy Houston and the smooth voice of Chris Cuthbert coming over from Todd Snyder. I meant, are any bars or places opening or playing that are open? No. Bars are closed in this area right now. It is not good. And I just heard that San Mateo County is shutting down all indoor non-essential businesses starting midnight either tonight or tomorrow. San Mateo County is getting hit hard right now in the Bay Area. And to be honest, Contra Costa is probably right nearby. And that's the county that I live in. It's scary. It's scary, and as a grocery worker, there is not a whole lot of social distancing that can happen, especially in my produce department. So, do yourself a favor, wear a mask, please. Do whatever you can to try and save it, because, man, it's been rough. And not to take away everything that's gone on with the hockey world, because that's what having hockey back is all about. It's to be that nice distraction for everything that's been going on. So for Elliot Freeman, thank you, 21 pucks. I appreciate you, bud. Jets coach Maurice says Scheifele and Laine will see specialists tomorrow via Elliot Friedman. Yikes. That's not good. If they're both out, the Jets are done. I hate to say it, but the Jets are done. Hellebuyck can only do so much for you, and they need to. They just need to find a way. You can't have Hellebuyck just being your only guy. Just like Montreal found a way to have Price not just be the guy. There's no question about it. So, let's kind of get into the elephant in the room here. Prior to the game against the Oilers and the Hawks, Wild forward Matt Dumba, part of the Hockey Diversity Alliance, had a wonderful speech on racism and such. And we're not going to get into it too much because I know that it's a touchy subject. But we saw him take a knee during the American anthem. And wow, powerful moment there after what the league was kind of starting to get some criticism on. So, 1 sec, I might be getting a co-host. I know, kind of awkward to do this live, but let's see here if I can get one. This will be interesting if I'm able to. So, but I think it was a great job by Matt Dumba. It takes some courageousness going on there, because there's been a lot of crap, and the Sharks have well represented their roster with a number of black players. We go all the way from Mike McHugh and Dale Craigwell to right now with Evander Kane, and there's plenty in the middle, so for sure. Dumba is getting skewered for not kneeling during the Canadian anthem. I think it speaks more volumes when it was just the American one, though, and we'll see. I think it was great. I'm glad that NBC tweeted it out because I heard that they didn't get it, and I was, Zach, I'm good. Thank you, bud. We'll figure a time when we can get you on in the near future, for sure. But I appreciate it. But it was great. It was great to hear. It was we were kind of hoping to see if the league would do something, because how it was presented early on. So, but Anthony weighing in. Anybody worried about Evander Kane voicing his opinion on how weak the NHL has addressed black players' hardships? Not really. I and you continue on. I just worry Kane is putting a target on himself. The league's already put a target on him. After everything that went down this past season, he already has a target on him, and it's Bulkapucky. But this might be one thing on top of the other, and if it is, it's just going to make it more obvious about how biased they are to him. That's how I see. Todd saying, I think we should let players choose what's more appropriate for themselves during issues and not make it an issue. Yeah. It would also be making issues that there's no, bias in police brutality. I think that's just seeing what's going in the police. It's like, come on. It's ridiculous. And that's what the kneeling is for. It's not to disrespect the flag or anything. But let's get past that there, But yeah, like I said, Team Zebra had a target on him all season. Yeah, big time. Ever since that shove in the preseason finale against Vegas. I mean, that was really pathetic. 21 pucks, Doug Wilson, Hasso back, EK9, 112%. Oh, yeah, big time. You hit it right in the head. The Sharks, I think, for the first time, were really vocal about this one. So, and you know what? I'm glad that the team has their back. I mean, absolutely. The team has the back. So, I don't think I'm getting a co-host, so it's okay. Yeah, I don't see him on. So, which is okay. Well, the ref grabbed him from behind, which is, yeah, oh, trust me. I get it. I totally get it. So, forgive me if I missed it. Are the Sharks going to have a mini camp this summer? Probably not. With everything going on right now, probably not. Now, could they have like a mini rookie camp after the draft? It's going to be really tight. Once the cup is presented, you roughly have 2 months for the draft, the free agent frenzy. So if players are moving around, they're scrambling to find places to live. It's going to be crazy. So, so it'll be interesting to see. I would think they got to do something. Now, they're going to have the big full-blown, rookie tournaments that we've been able to attend? Probably not. It's up in the air. Hell, are we going to get better out of this situation by December? I think a lot of people thought we would be okay by August. And here we are in bubbles. MLB's going through big issues. NFL is probably thinking, well, we could just look at the NHL and NBA and MLB. They'll figure it out, and then we'll just follow suit. Now they're in trouble. Who wants to go to an NFL game? 60, 70, 80,000 fans? I don't know. And the question is, by December, and we kind of briefly touched this, and again, I'm getting off topic here, but by December, are we going to have to set up multiple bubbles? We'll see. So, what should we do now? I say we give you what you want, and that is...
have the goddamn common courtesy to give him a reach around.
It's wraparound, all right? It's wraparound. Give me a break here. So let's wrap what went down tonight in these results. Carolina 3, Rangers 2. The Hurricanes lead 1-0. Thank you, Amanda, for your super chat donation. We'll definitely get that on there. Thank you for doing what you do for us hockey fans. I appreciate it. Let everybody know about it. We appreciate all the love we can get for you on there. So Carolina wins 3-2 as they take a 1-0 lead in that series. Again, Chicago all over the Oilers 6-4. The Oilers made it interesting late, but Chicago with a dominant first period to get the job done in the opening game. Back in Toronto, the Islanders open up a 1-0 series lead with a 2-1 win over the Florida Panthers. In this one, Bobrovsky just has not looked good. My goodness me. In overtime, probably the best game of the day, Pittsburgh loses, not beats Montreal. Whoopsies. That's what you get for putting the graphics together at the last minute. Montreal wins 3-2 over Pittsburgh. Montreal leads 1-0 in overtime. And just recently ended, Calgary beats a banged-up Winnipeg squad 4-1 to take a 1-0 lead in that series. So you have that. Kevin. Let's see here. Let's see what we got on here. Aside from the Isles, all the underdogs won. Yeah, that's for most part. That's for sure. 21 pucks. Different sports, but I wonder if the NHL contacted UFC about protocols and procedures as far as COVID testing. They've been in mixture with everybody, I think, including especially MLS, which started their bubble really early, and they've done a pretty good job with it. So, $90 seconds, perfect. Races fan rocks for MT on the 100 on the Flames. 100% slew footed. I don't remember the slew foot. Not sure on that one. You guys can fill me in on this. If anything, do us a favor if you're just joining us. Hi, it's Teal Town After Dark, Stanley Cup Qualifier Edition. You got me. We're getting another one in just a jiffy here. Definitely want to thank you, each and every one of you. It's been one of those weird, crazy summers. Doing a post-game show in August, and everything is a little crazy here. So we appreciate each and every one of you. Matthew Kachuk on Shifley. Are they calling that a slewfoot? Wow. Well, they made the precedent set when they let Ryan Reeves get away with that hit to the head. They weren't going to give it a crap. I thought there were some questionable hits in the Carolina Rangers game, which I thought, yikes. Okay, is that how we're going to do it? Is that how we're going to do things? I mean, people are going to be bruised and beaten up getting back to their hotel rooms in the bubble. It's just going to be crazy. So. I feel like I have a call coming in. We'll see who's coming in. Maybe. Mr. Lacey, are you there?
Best as I can for not planning this. So I got to make sure that my microphone is even. Let's see here. Hang on.
Your mic sounds pretty good, actually.
That's because it's like directly in front of me right now. Hello, everyone. And to Patrick Tyler in the chat, I'm Kevin Lacey. at Kevin Lacey 22. Damn it.
Okay. Now, I'm in a hockey jersey. I think it's more than fair, Kevin, that you should have a turtleneck on.
I have my "We interrupt everything to bring you the hockey season" shirt
Okay.
on.
I'll give you that. That's for sure. But it's good to see you. How you been? How you doing?
Good. I'm trying to get my microphone pieced together. I'm good. Work is busy as always. I have really not had much of a slowdown through all of this pandemic stuff, and so for me, it's kind of business as usual. Unfortunately, no real extra free time, but I do feel for the people at home who um, don't have all the same outlets for sports and everything, and I hope
Right.
everyone's happy that hockey is back. Sorry, I'm struggling
Go.
mightily
You know
with
what?
this thing.
Go ahead. Go ahead and do
Um,
that really quick,
yeah,
and then
but
we'll get.
thank you all for joining us. If you needed something to do, or if you just like listening to us chat about hockey, we appreciate all of you guys for following Teal Town USA and welcome. Oh, geez, I'm really messing this up. Hang on.
Go ahead. I'll meet you really quick. Go ahead and figure it out really quick. While he's doing that, Laurel's saying it looks like Kevin Lacey is participating in an earthquake. Yeah, I mean, let's not have earthquake jokes.
Had yet, I think.
Yeah, we're on a verge of a hurricane in Florida. We had a little bit one
Yeah.
at the bottom of Texas last week. I mean, that's the next one, So it is that kind of the ideas, But Todd Snyder checking in. I missed you guys. No joke. Please cover the playoffs. If you guys really like it, tell your friends. We would love to. Every night of playoff games. Oh shoot! It just think of how the chaos will be with the draft lottery, bud.
Oh, don't get me started, Eric, on the draft lottery. I mean, granted, I'm happy that Vancouver got screwed out of first overall pick by this weird lottery system. Go ahead and say it.
Which one? Oh, did somebody say Vancouver?
There you go.
Okay.
We don't need Vancouver
Thank you.
getting Mr. Lafreniere alongside Pedersen and Besser on a line.
Yeah, no
'Cause for
kidding.
those of you who are unaware, the 12th worst team, I had to figure out how to phrase that. The 12th worst team was the one who actually won the draft lottery, but it goes right back into another pool. So whoever finishes 12th worst this season after the play-ins and stuff, basically, will be thanked by who actually wins the second lottery. NHL. Oh, NHL.
Oh, it was so great. I was listening. I was prepping for the draft lottery show,
Okay.
and I was listening to TSN 1040 up in Vancouver, and their host Blake Price. They were just coming back from their commercial break, as Bill Daly's about to flip the card, and they're like, "Will we see chaos? Yes, we will see chaos. A random team that'll have a chance to win the Stanley Cup will get the #1 overall pick." Woo-wee!
You know what they just needed? They needed a new excuse to use the placeholder graphic from
Right,
Vegas.
right.
Yeah, I honestly think that's really what it was. So,
Oh
yeah.
man.
And actually, since I mentioned Vegas placeholder and everything, I haven't been on in a while, so I'd just like to touch up. Congratulations to Seattle. We don't hate you yet.
Right.
I'm sure we will eventually. I thought the Seattle presentation was fantastic. Like, I loved that they did the ceremony in front of the construction workers building
Mhm.
the renovated arena. I thought that was just a really cool touch, and logo's great. The sweaters are great. The team name's horrible, but everything else was great. So
So you like the sweaters?
I love them. I love them. The only thing I don't really like is that the sleeve numbers are wider than the back numbers.
Kind of similar to the
I
Sharks.
like what's up?
Similar to the Sharks.
Yeah, but the Sharks ones isn't that noticeable to me.
Mm-hmm.
This one to me is a bit different, but at the same time, like we haven't actually seen anyone wearing it, kind of thing. So, yeah, but
Yeah.
I do like that.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's like Kevin, come on and talk about today's games, and here I am talking about everything but today's games.
Oh, that's fine. Hey, I mean, that's what we built this show on for. You know, where you ramble about hockey and all sorts of random things. But why don't we get to that? What did you think of tonight's action? I mean, go wherever you want to go on this one, but
Sure. So I missed tonight's games. I was out for the evening, but I did watch the games during the day. Carolina Rangers was like the perfect game that they could start this off with,
Right.
because it was just high energy, high intensity, lots of hitting. You mentioned some questionable hits. I thought so as well. Not necessarily like suspendable hits, but just like, penalty worthy and the Yester Fast situation with him getting hurt, and then being kind of stuck out there for a goal. You don't want to stop play if you can help it, when a team is getting a quality scoring chance. But it did look like Fast was under some significant duress and did not come back in that game. So, but I thought that game was just so much fun to watch, especially for us here in the morning. Like, for me, that literally was what I woke up to. So I thought that was fun.
isn't that great to wake up? You know what? I'm gonna skip. Live with Kelly and Ryan. I'm gonna wake up for some hockey.
Kelly and Ryan. That's right. It's not Kelly and Regis anymore. Rest in peace, Regis.
Rest in peace, Reg. We freaking love you. 2 away
Yours is
from a
pretty
million.
good.
Don't go anywhere.
Yours is pretty good there.
I'm on fire.
Let's watch some hockey. That was bad, actually. I'll refrain. But anyway, then the Islanders and Panthers game, poor Mr. Johnny Boychuk, who, if I recall, has a concussion history.
I want to see
he got tripped there into the boards, and actually something that I took from that, they did not catch that on the broadcast, but when Johnny Boychuk gets back up, and I think it's Brock Nelson, it's one of the players, comes over to check on him, they ask him, I'm assuming, are you all right? And he says either, no, my hand, or no, my head. And I was like, okay, so it's not really a lower body thing,
Right.
Then he takes that shoulder to the head hit from Mike Matheson and doesn't come back. And I'm just like, oh man, like if he said, no, my head on the first one, and then takes that hit with, as far as I recall, a concussion history, that's really bad for someone who I think is in his mid to late 30s now.
Yikes.
But that was a good game. It wasn't the most exciting game, but I mean, I thought it was a well played, that was the type of game that if I was playing in it, I would have loved being involved in that. Like two teams really just going at interesting teams. But for me, it's a matter of I can only take so much Ed Olczyk. So,
of all broadcasts for him to do, they
stupid,
have him do Chicago.
Yeah, and that's stupid. You know what, though? They had John Forsland doing Carolina, which I don't know if you really want to jump into that whole debacle.
Wow.
But I thought it was a nice call that NBC Sports let John Forsland commentate the Carolina game, since Carolina wouldn't do it for him themselves. So
what a rough move for that. I still, he's got 2 spots he's going to go to, not to go on a sidebar. What's better, him going to Seattle where there's a ton of Whaler Hurricane ties, or replaces the guy who he replaced in Hartford in Rick Peckham in Tampa?
Huh.
I mean, either
For
one
me,
is a spot.
but, yeah, wow. John Forsland in Seattle would be fantastic for them. And I'm on the train of they should let Tom Callahan be their radio play-by-play guy because I'm a huge fan of Tom Callahan. So like in my Seattle dream, Forsland and Callahan would be a great one too, like how we have Randy and Dan.
Right.
I'm not the biggest fan of Rick Peckham, Eric. So for me, it's nothing against the guy. Never met the guy. I just when I listen to him broadcast the games, and it's not that he's lacking enthusiasm. It just doesn't hit my ear right. So,
Well, what Peckham lacks in enthusiasm, Dave Mishkin on the radio side makes up for it.
yeah,
I mean, let's be real here. If you haven't, after the show, of course, look up Dave Mishkin lightning calls. He gets a little excited, maybe too excited, but
I don't know. Rick Peckham for me is just on the power play. He scores. David Stamkos, and I'm just like, oh yay! Like I don't know. It's just
he goes to that and goes, hey, what do you say? That's hockey, baby.
You know what? With John Forsland and that call, I used to mock that all the time, but now I like mock it out of admiration.
Right.
So, and as someone whose simulation hockey team went to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals and lost,
oh man,
which was Carolina, I'm commonly reading my box scores and thinking, hey, what do you say? Artemi Panarin has tied the game for Carolina.
Oh boy,
because in that world, he's a mega star for the Hurricanes. But I digress.
Boy, but overall, are you surprised by this? Both 12 seeds, win
Thanks,
this,
man. Thank you for feeding me that.
I mean,
no,
both
I'm
12
not.
seeds.
I was actually a little aggravated. I mean, I get what NHL Network's trying to do with that whole thing, like an upset in the works. You gotta generate talk for ratings and all this. But like for me, nah, man. I actually think Chicago's a better team than Edmonton. Like I like the pieces that Chicago has built. Like of course, you would probably take the team with McDavid and Draisaitl, but I mean Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews. Jonathan Toews isn't Jonathan Toews of 10 years ago, but still solid. Kane's amazing, but I like the Blackhawks' depth better than Edmonton. I think that goaltending is suspect with Corey Crawford and between his concussion history, vertigo history, coronavirus history that just came out last week.
Mm-hmm.
He's always a question mark at this stage of his career, but at the same time, I mean, it's not like Edmonton's goalies are lighting the world on fire. I actually like Mike Smith better than Mikko Koskinen, and Mike Smith is kind of hit or miss,
Yeah. He's not. When he's been in the playoffs, he hasn't stolen a series.
Sure.
Especially last year, that debacle against Colorado. I mean, everybody gives crap about the lack of offense, especially from Johnny Gaudreau, but Mike Smith didn't do himself any favors either.
Right.
Yeah. And Johnny Gaudreau got off the schneid tonight, so interesting to see there.
Yeah. And then the other one was Montreal defeating Pittsburgh tonight. And yes, that would be a shocker. Like to me, that's more of a true 5-12 series. However, let's not forget the Penguins were trash before the stoppage. Like they had no clue what they were doing out there on the ice.
Right.
Now I know the Islanders lost 7 games in a row to go into the pandemic, and then they won today to end that streak. But Pittsburgh they've been inconsistent for good stretches of the year, and since the trade deadline they had no continuity at all. Like I feel like Crosby and Rust are the only ones bringing it every game, And I feel like their deadline acquisitions show that, because they didn't just get Patrick Marleau. They got 2 or 3 other guys.
Right.
Evan Rodriguez was one. I'm trying to think of who else they
Jason
got. But they got
Zucker.
2 or 3. Zucker, yeah. And Zucker's a good player.
Yeah.
Marleau, we know, is a good player. Rodriguez, I actually think, is an underrated player. But let's look at the Sharks. Like, the Sharks needed a lot more pieces this year to be in contention. If you're Pittsburgh and you need to bring in 4 more forwards at the trade deadline to feel good about yourselves, your team's not going anywhere, in my opinion. So I think Montreal is but I think Montreal has a chance against Pittsburgh because Pittsburgh doesn't have a lot of time to figure it out.
No. A 1-0 series lead in a 5-game series is I kind of look at it as a 2-1 series lead in a best of 7. And we always talk about how that game 4 is pivotal.
Oh yeah.
That pivotal game 4, it's not a actual do or die, but it might as well be, as it cliched is. So,
right.
These game 2s that are going to be coming up, it'll be quite interesting to see how much more desperate some of these players these teams are going to be, for sure.
Sure. I want to, before I lose this thought, just the round robin games that are going on with the upper seeds, real quick, kind of with the same line as what you're saying. I'm curious to see how the round robin games pace as we get deeper into this play-in, because are teams going to kind of sandbag that last game? Like, let's not go too hard going into the real playoffs, or are teams going to take the approach of let's go balls to the wall on the last game so that we amp up our intensity to match these teams that are playing legitimate games in the play-in once the playoffs come around. But I wanted to, Eric, we got a couple questions in the chat about the Rangers.
Gotcha. Let me get one thing in about that thought.
Sure.
What about a round robin team playing around when they know, like, say if one series finishes early, okay, we know Montreal's moving on. We got to go for that number 1 seed. We know we can match up well against Montreal. Or Pittsburgh's won. Okay, maybe we don't. If we pull back and only get the loser point, maybe we avoid playing Sidney Crosby, because Sidney Crosby's such a great player. From I used to talk to his dryer machine.
Pierre Maguire on the podcast here
with a beard. Yes. But let's get to that question from Felix. Do you guys think we see Shesterkin anytime for the Rangers during this play-in series against Carolina? And he was a surprise scratch.
Yeah.
For game 1. And Felix goes on to say, I was actually surprised. He's breaking up the hat. I was actually surprised that Lundqvist started today's game until I learned that Shesterkin was unfit to play. What do you think? I mean, I would have at least thought Georgiev would have started.
Hey, it's time for Rangers talk here on Rangers Blue Shirts After Dark. Henrik Lundqvist, I feel like he's obviously been the guy for a really long time. He had kind of a so-so last couple of years, but he wasn't bad. I think that with Shesterkin, it's Shesterkin, but it's not. So bear with me on that.
There's a hint of Swedish chef in that, Shesterkin.
Actually, that's probably the best I've said his name, to be quite honest. With him, there's a couple things going on there, because I don't think it's a coronavirus-related thing. Because I feel like the bubble testing that's been going on right now in the NHL has been very successful so far. There were some players who tested positive that got pulled off, but it's been like 12, 13 days since anyone has contracted the virus, and the fact that they are in a bubble, it's not foolproof, but
Sure.
I think they've got I think the NHL. Hey, I finally can say the NHL did something right. I feel like the NHL is leaps and bounds ahead of the other North American professional leagues regarding this. Like I know the NBA's doing their own bubble thing, but it's location, and I'm like, nah. Baseball, pour one out for baseball.
Yikes.
But so I think it's an injury for Shesterkin, and let's not forget also that he had that serious car accident right before the pandemic. He's had time to recover, because he has been practicing with the team. So if he hadn't been fully recovered, I don't think he would be even on the roster. But you never know. I mean, training to rehab back from injuries sustained at all, let alone car accident, that's not real training. So I do think he is susceptible to getting injured again here in the practice, the play-in, the playoffs.
Right.
So whatever has happened with him, I think that Georgiev is a good goalie. I do think, though, that Lundqvist hasn't lost his job to Georgiev. Maybe he has to Shesterkin because he's a hot new toy, but with Georgiev, I would start the experience. So I thought Lundqvist played fine. I mean, a couple of the goals against him were real nice read. Well, one was off Mark Stahl's foot,
yeah.
But the other goal, Aho, I think it was, had a real nice redirection for one. So I can't fault Hank for that.
No, I thought Lundqvist actually played a pretty solid game. Yeah, and there were some goals that, the bad bounce, the tip in. He had a sweet save on a 2-on-1 right after
on Jake Gardner.
Yeah, right after Carolina made it 3-1. I thought that was going to be a backbreaker, and Carolina was going for it to finish off the thing right there and there, and he held their ground and kept them in it until it was too late.
Yep. Yeah, man. I'm glad you brought up that save that he had. That was the best thing I saw of hockey on day one for me. Well, besides the Matt Dumba thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hockey wise, the best thing I saw was that save by Lundqvist. Because first off, the pass, I wish I could remember who made the pass to Gardner. But the pass was great. But that was such a hard one-timer for Jake Gardner to get off with, like, in the blink of an eye, at that speed, and with that much power. That was an unbelievable shot that he put on net. And the fact that Hank was able to get his blocker out there and swat that away, like, that was just great hockey. Like, I loved that game this morning. So
yeah, and we got go ahead.
I'll kind of spin Felix and Laurel's questions to you, Eric, about the Rangers here. What if the Rangers go down 2-0? What do you do then? Do you keep Lundqvist in?
Oh,
if Lundqvist plays fine but not great in Game 2,
well,
do you go with Georgiev in Game 3?
Do you go with Georgiev as a desperate move, or do you leave Lundqvist in and have that 12.5% chance to get another piece to the puzzle to go with Panarin?
But now you're thinking how I think. Yes, that's what I would do. Man, if I'm down 2-0, whatever. This has been fun. Let's go for Alexis Lafreniere.
Right, and that's the thing about this. I mean, the thing is you have a 12.5% chance. You have a 1 out of 8 chance. But that also means you're going to be 7 out of 8 chance that you're going to be doing no worse. If you don't get number 1, no worse than number 9.
Right.
It's a little bit of a risk, but there's a chance at the reward. I don't know. To me, I say I think you build on the experience and keep going. and do whatever you need to do, but you can't tell me that there isn't anybody wanting to make that move.
Oh yeah, definitely.
If you go down 2-0 or like say if Edmonton loses badly again to Chicago, what on earth do you do? I mean, do you go to Koskinen for game 2? And if not, and you lose, what do you do game 3? Or if you're Winnipeg and your top 2 guys are out, I mean,
because Laine had that got cross-checked by Giordano,
and Scheifele got hurt really bad, and it looks like
it looked
like it was a Kachuk slew foot that made him go awkwardly into the boards.
Shocker,
right?
Huh. No, I missed that, so I'm sure I'll be seeing replays of that. That sounds bad.
He's a
bad player to lose for them.
Right. Which is a great plug to check out the Teal Town USA Twitter, where we are gifting all the games in the playoffs, and oh boy howdy, so much fun. Yeah. Sorry, you were saying something.
I lost my train of thought on that.
Sorry.
But, so whenever I lose my train of thought here on Teal Town USA, which does happen often, I would like to remind you to please subscribe to our network. That way, when I finally figure out what it is I meant to say, you'll see it first on our Twitter or on one of our shows here on YouTube. It might be 3 or 4 shows down the line before I finally remember what I mean to say, but you'll be able to watch that if you subscribe and turn those alerts on for our next exciting podcast.
That's absolutely right, and you should do that. If not, you should feel shame. So do us a favor, hit that subscribe button down below and hit that notification bell. That will notify you when we are going on the air. Especially, we give you a 30-minute warning, roughly, for everything going on. But let's get to the games that are going to happen tomorrow,
sure.
Or if you're watching this today, noon on Sunday, you start getting the round robin games in. Flyers and Bruins. And something I really didn't talk too much about with Ian last night on our preview show was how these round robins are going to be playing. And you kind of hit it on your head. What do you do in some cases? Do you play it light early on and then go full throttle to try to catch up, or the other way around? But Flyers and Bruins, that just sounds like it's going to be a tough matchup.
Yeah, that's that series is just gonna. I do think game 1, pretty much all around for the round robin. I think game 1 you'll see it very similar to the exhibition games,
right?
Because that's really what it is. It's just exhibition games here. Game 2 you might see some intensity spark up if you haven't in game 1, and so on and so forth. Flyers and Bruins though, those. Historically, those are 2 really tough teams. Boston definitely right now is a very tough physical team. For me, at some point, what will Brad Marchand do here in the playoffs to get himself in trouble? Because for me, he's going to cough on somebody. I mean, he bit someone one year. He licked someone the next year. This year, he's going to deliberately cough on someone, and Twitter will be a roar.
If he were to lick again, don't you think there's going to be some suspension?
Oh,
just because
hell yeah!
Because of the health risk that he's putting these players in. I mean,
absolutely. Someone get him a muzzle, please.
Him and Alex Burrows,
Oh,
just
God.
Moving onward at 3:30, that this game will be on NBCSN. St. Louis will begin its defense of the Stanley Cup against the Colorado Avalanche, who I have coming out of the West.
I kind of do too.
There's something about
I haven't really
Colorado.
I haven't put much thought into it, But earlier this morning I was thinking, man, if it's like Colorado and Carolina in the Cup final, I don't think it will be, but if it's those two teams in the Cup final, like you make the Cup this year, and both those are probably the two teams that have the best futures going forward at the same time. Woo! Colorado and St. Louis, though, that can't be a Western Conference final, unfortunately, because of the divisional format. But that's going to be I would like to see 7 games of that. Like, we're only going to see 1 here in the round robin, but I would like to see 7 games of that series.
Well, depending on how they are seeded. Remember, they aren't doing the divisional seeds for this one. It's all conference. It's
I learned something new today, folks.
Yeah. It's kind of like the old like the 1 through 8 format of sorts.
Perfect.
They'll
keep it that way.
Yeah, right. I mean, I agree, but there's a chance, albeit might be a tough one because they'll be in the top 4 for sure. So,
right.
But yeah, Colorado for me coming out of the West is what I
think that's a really good call. And I was watching an interview with Rick Bowness, the head coach of Dallas, earlier in the week, and he actually said, no disrespect to St. Louis, which is an amazing team, which that's good management there. Don't
sounds like
don't downplay them in case you end up losing to them down the line, Dallas. But he said they're an amazing team, but the team to beat for us is Colorado. So it's high praise from a well-respected coach.
It's like Rick Bowness was talking to Stephen A. Smith. I mean, no disrespect over to the St. Louis Blues, but we got to go through Colorado.
Oh, jeez.
Let's
keep it to Shorthouse and Regis. Your Regis was good.
At 11 o'clock in the morning, so I guess this is the first game of the day. The Desert Dogs. The Desert Dogs and the Nashville Predators start their highly anticipated Sunbelt series. I'm sure all of Canada is thoroughly excited about 2 Sunbelt teams who have had attendance issues and how they wish they had them in Hamilton and Winnipeg, respectively. Kevin?
Hey, did you watch the last Columbus exhibition game, whom I've already forgot? Oh, did they play Pittsburgh? I don't remember who they played. They won. But Jean-Luc Grandpierre is apparently on their broadcast team now. And in the Blue Jackets studio, they were doing what we're doing right now, talking about the series. And he just straight said, Nashville and Arizona, not a very exciting series there. And moving on to, just threw it out there. And I'm like, wow, okay. I like Nashville in that one, but yeah.
Nashville definitely has a better defense, although Arizona's pretty decent. Goaltending, if UC Saros is going to be on the run, I think he'll be good. Also, always nice to have Pekka Rinne as the backup, or it could be vice versa for that matter. Darcy Kemper's got to be the backbone of the team, though, for Arizona to advance.
Arizona gets Darcy Kemper back,
right?
Because he was hurt there for a while. Actually, that's kind of a main theme for the playoffs or play-ins and playoffs in general, is just the number of goaltenders who are back. I mean, Carolina had both goalies out, and as far as I'm aware, Arizona did too. I don't know Antti Ranta's status, but yeah, Kemper's back.
He did play a little bit in their exhibition game against Las Vegas. So
there you go.
There's that for sure. At 5 p.m., you have the team formerly known as the Neon Buggers taking on the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Do you mean Jean-Luc Grandpierre's
the Jean-Luc Blambiers against the Maple Leafs, to where Steve Dangle will say, "Why not?"
I'm excited for that series.
This is the series I think everybody is looking at.
Yeah, because Toronto. But I really think it's going to be a fantastic series, and I'm picking Columbus.
Woo! Ooh. See, I'm going a little crazy, and I'm calling Toronto as the team coming out of the East.
Oh wow, okay, you're crazy.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, well,
I still like you.
Well, let's be honest here. All my predictions come out horribly wrong, so deep down inside, it's probably going to end up being like Washington and Vegas again. So,
well, what they talking about Toronto here? You're the all, and I'm the nothing on that, I guess, huh?
Right?
So,
You're right.
I actually have Columbus winning this series, but that's gonna be a fun one to watch. And you know what? Going back to Arizona and Nashville real quick, I actually think that's gonna be a really good series. And the reason I do think that is because last year, Dallas and Nashville, I believe Dallas and Nashville played last year, right?
Round one.
That was a series where I said the same thing. I'm like, oh God, I don't care about these guys, right? That was the best series I saw that round. Like, that was some fantastic hockey. So I think Nashville and Arizona is going to bring a similar style there and just be very fast, very quick, and should be fun. But yeah, Columbus, man, I think Toronto, their issue is just the pressure.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's not that they're not talented enough. I just think that there's so much pressure because of that market and the fact that, well, I guess the fact that it's home ice, in a way, that's more pressure, because if they lose, then it's, God, you are the only team that has a home ice advantage in this building, and you still lost. You suck. Like,
oh, man. You are so right. I mean, I will look forward to listening to TSN 1050 or Sportsnet 590 The Fan if the Leafs go out in round one to Columbus. I'm sorry. But I think Columbus has a shot. They get good goaltending from either Merzlikins or Korpisalo, and former Shark Gus Nyquist did what he did in the exhibition game. He was setting up passes, receiving passes for goals. They do that. Columbus has got a good shot for it. Kind of picking back on the Arizona thing, Felix was asking, speaking of jerks yotes, Kevin, your thoughts on the John Chayka situation?
A mess. Like, just
all right.
A total mess. Like, oh man, I'm trying to remember. I had tweeted out 10 days ago or so. Again, at Kevin Lazy 22. I tweeted out 10 days ago because I watched a kind of a clip on TSN about that whole situation and the fact that Chayka was left out of the Taylor Hall negotiations. That to me was, I mean, we've been hearing the rumblings since I think around Christmas time or just before that, that he might be on his way out. And then the moment I heard they locked the door on Chayka for Taylor Hall negotiations, that said, all right, he's not the guy. Now this is getting really dirty. And Chayka walking out. Now there's talk about him possibly joining Seattle. That's weird. And I think that Arizona is pursuing potential legal action if he joins on with another team real quickly.
Right.
I don't think John Chayka, I'm curious on your thoughts on this too, Eric. I don't think John Chayka is GM material. I think he's great for being a part of the front office in like an assistant role, someone who can read the analytics and make suggestions to the actual
right.
GM, and then the GM can make the final decision on what to do with that data. But I don't. Hockey is not 100% analytics, and John Chayka has always been perceived as exactly that.
Right.
Who knows what's going on really behind closed doors there, because we're not there. But I just don't see him being a GM again, at least for a while. But I think he would be good to join on in another capacity. What do you think of on him
Yeah,
as?
I would think for Chaika, I think his age was a little young.
Sure.
I think you're right. He's going to be a great front office exec. I think it was a little early for him. Do I think he'll get a chance to be a GM again? Yeah, but it might take another decade or so to do it because let's be honest here, the league is definitely become an old boys club
Yeah.
where everybody's getting recycled. I mean, I can't believe Lindy Ruff is going to will be coaching again as a head coach. It just mind blows me. You know, I still remember him saying to a rally in Buffalo, "No goal."
Oh yeah, I just watched that the other day actually.
So
No.
to the final matchup at night. That'll be at 7:30, and that is on NBCSN. The Minnesota Wild, or as some people call it last night, Mild, taking on the Vancouver Canucks.
For me, this is the series that I don't care about. Like I have wanted to care about the Minnesota Wild since they joined the league, and I can't. I just
God.
can't. They don't play exciting hockey to me. They have some players that I like, but I just, yeah, they're there. Like it's a good matchup for Minnesota because I'm not fully sold on Vancouver,
Right.
but at the same time, it's a good matchup for Vancouver because I don't think Minnesota's anything special. I do think though that top line with Parise and Fiala on the wings, though, those guys were lighting it up. And I mean, the lamp, obviously, but I mean, they were killing it the last 2 months of the season together. So Minnesota's got that deadly top line, or at least the wings on that top line there. But, Minnesota traded Jason Zucker not in anticipation of being in this situation, obviously, but I think Hockey Jerk is flying over my house right now in his helicopter.
That's because you didn't pick his Yotes.
that must be it. But he's flying in. Okay, but yeah, I just again, when you lose your train of thought, please subscribe, and I'll eventually remember it on the next show.
So Minnesota, I for Vancouver, Markstrom, this is kind of a make or break for him. I think this is you talk about contract year, it's a contract series for him as to how much
Sure.
he can get. If he can go out there and steal some games, that's going to be a huge thing for Vancouver to get over the hump with. If not, well, they can trade for Martin Jones when Markstrom goes to be a UFA. So, but a big series for Brock Besser. You can throw in as well a huge series for Elias Pettersson. He's been the guy that other teams target, considering everything that's happened, including Carolina and New York. And Ryan Reeves taking a shot, and how ugly it kind of got at the end of the night with Winnipeg and Calgary.
Yeah.
He might have to keep his head up.
Oh yeah.
So with that, I think that's call it a night. Kevin, thank you for saving me. Appreciate it as always.
Oh yeah, man. I got out of the shower and I saw, hey, you're on. So, and I'm shaved clean, I guess, for the play-in playoffs or whatever. I don't know.
Hey, it'll only start to grow because nothing like those summer beards. Yikes. So,
yeah. I was just gonna kind of do my sign off here. So again, thanks for watching us this evening. Thanks for having me on, Eric. It's been a while since the last time I was on was when we were doing our retro Sharks Penguins game from 1996. So if you haven't checked that out, please do. It's on the Teal Town USA YouTube channel. So much fun.
Yeah.
And I'll probably be tweeting every now and then about the NHL games. Right now, what I'm really trying to track, if you would like to follow me, what I'm really trying to track is the players going overseas because of the pandemic and the fact that there's a lot of uncertainty if the NHL and AHL, well, the AHL confirmed they're not going to do a full season next year.
Right.
The NHL, I would assume, is following suit, even though they have stated otherwise. So we're starting to see players and especially prospects signing on with teams in Europe and in the KHL. And so trying to kind of keep track of that and tweet out notable things. So we'll see what's going on with that trend. So.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Like Anthony Sanchez, I think, mentioned that there's some talks, and I think Sheng had mentioned it on his website, that Jumbo is considering jumping over to the Swiss League until the Shark season starts, because you just don't know how long the wait will be. And to be over in the Swiss League to kind of get your feet going might be something that many players do.
There's a lot of money in the Swiss League. It's probably the second most lucrative league. It's not the second highest in terms of on-ice quality, but it is still very good. But I believe it's the second most lucrative league in Europe. So Thornton, with his previous ties from lockouts, playing for Davos, I could definitely see that happening.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised by it. It'll be interesting, though, if he has a contract when he jumps over there. So,
yep.
As I drop my water bottle. So with that...
I thought you dropped the mic.
No.
Joe Thornton to Davos. Boom!
TTG5, as you guys would say. All right. Well, in case you missed anything and want to watch this again, check us out on tealtownusa.com or your favorite podcatcher, as listed as all over, whether it's Apple iStore, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, TuneIn, iHeartRadio. Of course, you can always find them at tealtownusa.com. After Dark won't be seen tomorrow night. The Pucknologist will be taking over at 8 o'clock. Maybe we jump on afterwards. We'll see, depending on how everything falls out. They'll be on Sunday night at 8 p.m. Depending on how you guys want it, we'll throw it up here. If you guys want another After Dark Monday, we'll be more than happy to do it for you. But Kevin, thank you very much. Appreciate it as always. I'm Eric Cura. You can find me on Twitter and the Instagram at PuckGuy14. Be safe out there. Like I said earlier, San Mateo County is about to get shut down again, so please be safe. We'll be back with you Sunday night for Pucknologists. We will also be back with you, hopefully, for another installment of the Stanley Cup qualifiers on Teal Town USA After Dark. But until then, thank you for watching. Hit that subscribe button. Follow us on the Twitter machine and the social media channels. And until next time, keep it real, keep it teal, keep it real teal. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you